kind of always think of the ABC or the three-term contingency, where we have the antecedent, behavior, consequence, guiding behavior. But what I'm going to argue today, and in fact, this is kind of well known that this is a very simplistic account. This is not, even behavior analysts do not think that this is the whole picture. I can turn on the air conditioning really, really high. And I also made you drink a whole bunch of super cold water. Now I have actually placed in what's called an abolishing operation on you, if we're thinking about obtaining water. Because you're now cold and very much full of water, you are not going to be looking for more water. So your behavior that's been reinforced with access to water is now going to go down. And so water-seeking behavior decreases. You're not going to be looking at for water bottles, you're not going to be reaching for them, and so on. So everything that's associated with water is going to go down. And water is now back to a neutral stimulus, perhaps even aversive if I'm really forcing you to drink, but let's say I'm not. So water is really now a neutral stimulus. It lost its reinforcing properties. Condition motivating operation, those are variables that alter the reinforcing effectiveness of other stimuli, objects, events, but only as a result of a learning history. So again, this is not kind of biologically relevant. We need to learn these things. So he split the condition motivating operations into three. There is still some scientific debate whether we should have some additional ones for human language. But since we don't really care about that, we can kind of toss that aside. And we can really focus on the three: the surrogate, reflexive, and the transitive, or the CMOS, CMOR, and the CMOT. So let's go through each one. I see this a lot. Dog and owner are about to enter a dog park. They come up to the entrance, the dog sits, you open the gate. Quickly, if I just kind of look at this diagram, it looks really, really straightforward. Again, discriminative stimulus at the gate, the dog sits as a response, they get into it as the reinforcer. But what I would probably suggest, and I think kind of if we observe the dog's behavior, we might see that is probably an application of aversive stimulation. There's a warning stimulus in place that if the dog does not sit, things are going to get worse. So for example, if the dog is not sitting, what is the owner going to do? Is going to ask the dog or repeat the command a whole bunch of times, push the butt down, jerk on the collar, maybe extend the waiting period.